Hey there, my name is Brenda. I am a developer and I am the founder and owner of Cocalico. We're a theme agency for Shopify. We build custom themes and we also build themes for the Shopify theme store. And in this video, I'm going to talk about one of our newest features in the Whisk theme, which is the ability to add a transparent header to any template on any page, and how to add custom color backgrounds to your product page and templates. Okay, so before we get into the tutorial, I'm going to show you where we're going and what we're trying to achieve. And so this is one of the demo stores on the Whisk theme. And here, this is the home page. We have a transparent header on the home page, which is pretty self-explanatory. We've got this is an image banner and there's a background image, and we just have the header on top of it. And we've got, this is a candle store for the most part, and we've got color associated with each scent. So I want to really drive that branding home by having a product page that emphasizes these colors with each scent. So I can see if I go now to this eucalyptus and blue chamomile candles product page, I have that same color background that is in the image of the candle. And when I look at another scent, black plum, again, here we're like overpowered by this beautiful, dark, plummy purple color. And so to achieve this, there are two features in the Whisk theme that we use to achieve this, and they're both new. One is custom color scheme on a product. So the ability to be able to add a color to a specific product, a certain color scheme. And the second is the ability to have a transparent header on every page. So we saw, if we went to the home page, this is a transparent header. This has been in the Whisk theme from the very beginning, that you could do this on the home page. But the new feature we just added is that now you can do this on any page, and that allows for this kind of seamless look of a background color on a product page. But you can also use a transparent header on a collection page, on articles and the blog, etc. But this is giving us this nice, full takeover of the color effect on a product page. So let's get into how to set that up. Okay, so I'm going to take this in two parts. And so the first thing I'm going to do is talk about how to do the color schemes on the product page. And then after that, I'm going to show you how to make the header transparent on the product page or on any page in the theme. So first off, most importantly, we need to make sure we're working with Whisk version 13.2.0 or greater. So most of these are new features that are only available in this version of Whisk or above. So that's where we are, and we're working on a live theme. So in, this idea of what I want to do for my store here is I've got some different products. I've got some candles, I've got some face serums, but I only want to customize the candles products to look a certain way. So I created a new template just for them. And so it's candles, it's assigned to 9 products already. But I have 10 candles, so there's still one candle that I need to make sure it's using this template. So I left that just so I could show you real quick, just in case you're not used to working with different templates, how to do that. So I'm going to go to products, and I already know it's the neroli and fig candle that needs to be using the candle template. So right now it's using the default product template, and I can just click into here, scroll, and I can find the candles template or any template that I have and save it. Okay, so great. So now I know that all my candles are using a candle template that I made especially for them. And one thing to note is that we get a lot of support questions about not being able to see templates or not being able to assign templates to products. You need to make sure that any template that you use is on the live theme. So if you're making a new version of the theme and it's in the draft version and you make a new template there, if that template does not exist on the live theme, you won't be able to assign it in the theme editor to a product, or in the Shopify admin to a product. So just one little thing to note, to make note of. So let's go into the theme editor and let's go to our candles template. And we're going to click into here and let's just add a background color. And so this is new for this template, or for this section, for a main product section, that we can add any kind of color scheme. So this is something that's available in most sections in the Whisk theme, but here we can add one of the color schemes that have been used elsewhere throughout the site. So these have already been set up in theme settings, and I can choose different ones. This might be all you need. So in this case, every candle would have this same background color. So if we go to, we could navigate through here. Let's go and look at pumpkin spice. Pumpkin spice also has this background color. So that could be what you want to do. But maybe if you want to do what we showed, where you show a different color for each thing, or for each product, here you would go into custom, and we'll get some new settings that will show up like right below, which is really cool. And right now nothing is set. So one thing to know is that if you don't set one of these, it'll just default to whatever the default for your whole store is. So it won't override anything unless you ask it to. So I could make this, again, something that is a color scheme that isn't one of the ones that's everywhere, and it would work on everything, on all these products that use this template. But that's not what we want to do. But just so you know, you could just set a color here and it works everywhere. But instead, what I want to do is use a meta field, and I can assign a specific color to every candle, and then those colors will work here. So that's what I'm going to show you how to do next. All right, so I'm going to create meta fields for colors on a product so that I can assign those colors to the background for the main product section. So I'm going to go into settings down here and go to meta fields and meta objects and go up to products. And I've already got a few meta field definitions on my product, but these are new ones. So I'm going to do 4 new ones, and they're all going to be colors. So I'm going to give them names for me to know what they are. So I'm going to do, and this can be whatever name you want it to be. Background color, can't type. Background color, it's going to make up what that is. All of this is fine. And then select type. I want the type color. Select that. And I want it to be 1 value. That's done. That's it. So now I want to do this 3 more times for the other areas that I need to customize. So if I do a background color, I need to have a custom foreground color or text color too, to make sure that I have the right amount of contrast, right? So I'm just going to call this text color. Again, I'm going to select color as the type of meta field and just 1 value and hit save. And then the other 2 colors that I need to define are the primary button colors. So this would be your add to cart button. So this is, of course, really important to make sure that it's something that stands out so that customers will know where to go when they want to buy your product. So button background color, again, one value, select type, and then the button text color is the last one that we're going to do. And great. So I've got all of these set up, and I can go back to one of my products. So let's look at the pumpkin spice candle. And we have at the bottom, awesome, we have our new product meta fields, and they're blank, which is fine. If you leave these blank, it won't override anything. Like, it'll just leave it the way it is, the default setting on the product page. So you're free to like not have to do this on every product if you don't want to. So let's right now just kind of choose for pumpkin. I've got some colors already picked out that I know are going to look good with the pumpkin spice candle. So this is a background color that is similar to the background color in the image for the pumpkin spice candle. And then I'm just going to do like a slightly muted black. I just like to, I never use like full on black on the web. I just think like having a little bit of a muted black just looks a little more refined. So I'm gonna, just to make everything like very, very pumpkin-y, I'm just gonna do the background color the same color as the text, and then make sure I've got a contrast color for the button text on top of the button. So let's see how that looks. Okay, cool. So I've only set this up for the pumpkin spice candle right now. So let's go back into our online store. And let's connect these meta fields. So we're going to go to candles. So remember, we left it with this, set background color. But instead, if we click this is the dynamic content button, we can make sure we're on the product template here. It automatically pulled up for us, which is great. And we can connect to the meta fields that we just created, background color. And we want to do this for all of them: foreground color, button background color, and button text color. And I'm going to save it. And so remember, like I said, if you don't have the meta field filled out on the product, it'll just do the default. So that's what's happening here, because remember, we only did the pumpkin spice candle. So since this is the eucalyptus and blue chamomile candle, it's just doing the standard one that it does for everything. So let's go now to, let's go check out that pumpkin spice and see what it looks like. Where's my pumpkin spice? Oh, it's right at the top. Awesome. Woo, look at that. How good does that look? So that is our custom background color on the pumpkin spice. And so we can go back and do that for all of our candles. And I'm going to do that offline right now. And then next I'll show you how to make the background of the header the same as the background color on the main product section, so you've got that seamless look. So actually, you know what? Before we do that, I'm going to show you one other thing. So you can see that I have a color set for the in-stock notifications, and it doesn't look great on every, background color, right? So I can actually make that, and especially like you can't even see it on this one. So I can also make that the same color as the text here. And to do that, and there's certain like apps that'll let you do that too. Like, will let you assign a meta field to like the product review stars. I know Luke's will let you do it, but maybe some of the other ones will let you do it too. But here we go. I'm just going to do it right now and show you for the inventory status. You can go in here to inventory status, and we have the colors that we assigned here. But again, we can use a meta field just like we did before. And now that will make that the same color as that. So we're gonna go full on with the color schemes that we've defined for each product. One thing you can't change are any dynamic shopping button colors. Those are set by Shopify and we can't override them. So just something to know. I'm just going to go back here. Yeah, cool. So now this looks awesome. So, okay, let's now look into making that transparent header and talk about transparent headers. Okay, so how do we make the header transparent? I'm going to go over the transparent headers for all of the theme first, and then we'll go specifically back to this product template. So let's go back to the home page. The home page already has a transparent header set. So you manage the transparent headers for all pages in the header section up here in the header group. So one feature that we've had since the beginning of Whisk is that you could make the header transparent on the home page. And this was a feature that was only available for the home page until the update to 13.2.0. So that was just by being able to use a toggle here to toggle on and off, making the transparent header. And then we have the option below to change the logo color. Sometimes you might need to do that. If this picture, let's say, was really dark background, we'd want to update the logo so that it's a logo that stands out on a dark background, and update the font color here too to be able to stand out. But we didn't need to do that in this case for the home page. So this still works. We try our very best to never break anything that's already existing, even if we improve upon it. So you can still use this toggle the way that it's always worked. Or the other way now that you can make a header transparent and use it on any template, and you have to think about it as templates. So the templates are all of the different pieces that you can customize in here. So each one of these is a different template on a product. Collections, we only have one template, etc. What's confusing about the homepage and also the blog posts, but we'll start with the homepage, is that its technical name is not homepage. And in order to assign a transparent header to a template, you need to use its technical name. So I have a list here. If you click into our documentation for the Whisk theme, I'll lay out what the technical name is for each template. So if you have any problems here getting a transparent header going, go straight to our documentation and see if that solves your issue, or reach out to support and I'll answer and I'll be happy to help you. So I'm going to toggle this off just to demonstrate. So to make this header transparent in the new way, I need to type in its technical template name into this text box. And so the homepage technical template name is index. So there it is. You see it like satisfies the exact same effect. So I'm just going to save this. There's really for the homepage, both of them work exactly the same. So there's no better or worse way to do it. Do it however you want. But let's go now to our product page. Cool. So we want to make this one look more like the home page, right? So what we're going to do is go back to header. And here's the other little tricky thing about these templates. So for products, we have 3 different templates, right? We have the default template. Let's look up here. We have the default template, we have a candles, and we have a 2 columns template. So we only want to do the transparent header to the candles template. So I need to first call the main template name and then add a period and then the name of the custom template to make it a transparent header. So if I want to only do the default and only the default template, I can leave it as product and it won't assign it to any of the other secondary templates for that page type. So you see it's not doing it here. So I'm going to go back to doing it just for this one, and then we'll talk about the next problem. So let me save this. Cool. So next problem is, well, it's transparent. That means it like fixes the header on top of this. And we don't want that because that is messing up our, it's going over important content. So in the section, now we need to move out of the header section. We've already done what we need to do in the header section, and now we need to customize things in this main product section. So I'm going to click into here. I'm going to scroll down to the very bottom of the settings, and there's a section spacing. And there's a note, add padding at the top to give space to a transparent header. And so that's what we want to do. Awesome. So this toggle switch it knows the height of the header, and it will automatically add space above it to always clear that header. So I'm going to save this now. So I also have some extra padding there. So just to kind of demonstrate, if I remove that, you'll see that now this butts up right against the top of the header. And so even if I didn't have that padding, like now we'll see this background butts up right against the top. So I kind of like having this little extra space, to give a little breathing room. So I'm just going to add a little bit back in. Okay, cool. And save. Great. So now if I look at some of my other, let's go back to our other ones, we can see that we've got whatever the background color of the main product section is, it goes to the back. That looks so great. So one more thing, here we go. We have a, dark background with light text on this one candle color. And so it's not doing so great with our transparent header color. So we want to add a custom transparent header color to this product in particular. So we can do the same thing we did before and use some of these meta fields that we already created and go down here. So we're back in the main product section and we have transparent header overrides. And so here we can, first off, let's connect to the text color. Cool. So that updates our text. And then we'll need to create new meta fields for the header image. So we can add a header image here that's on a white background. So let's go ahead and do that real quick. Go to settings, go back to meta fields. Meta fields and meta objects. Back to products. We'll add a new definition and we'll call this transparent header logo. And the type we're going to select is a file. And we're going to only allow an image and we only want one file. So have it set up like this. Click save. And everything was looking fine for all of our other candles that have a lighter colored background. So we're just going to add this. We can leave those alone. We don't have to add anything there. We're just going to do this on the black plum candle. And we're going to add a white background transparent header logo. So I already have that uploaded. I just have to find the right one. I think it's that one. So I want something that's like the same size and the same writing so that when I hover over, it looks exactly the same. So let's make sure I did that right. Click in, homepage, products, candles, and I'm going to assign that to logo for transparent header desktop. I bet I picked the wrong logo. Transparent header logo and connect it. So didn't change anything here because we haven't added anything to the meta field for this product, the eucalyptus and blue chamomile candle. We added it for the black plum candle. So now you see we have a different a different header. We have the white header. Awesome. I did pick the wrong one that has the wrong, it says candles and fragrances instead of beauty and fragrances, but in theory you would pick you would just have like a different color version of your site header logo that you can add in when you need, so that you have like a really nice seamless hover experience and your logo is consistent throughout the store. So that's how you add the custom color to a template. So we're just going to take this like one step further, and I'll show you how now you can add like the border shapes too with these custom color schemes. So if we go back to our main product section, go down to borders, we can choose different borders. So at the bottom, and like with any other section, if you want to make this seamless to the next section, you can pick a color underneath that is the background color of the section underneath it, so it just looks like everything is seamlessly together. So that is how you make this cool effect on the Whisk theme. Okay, so to wrap up here, I'm going to show you some of the different ways we're using the transparent header and the custom background colors on the product pages in our demo stores to maybe give you some inspiration for how you can use it in your store. So here we're on the demo store Whisk, which is our default demo store. It's an olive oil brand. We'll go into customize, and let's look at the header, and then we can see which templates the transparent header is applied to. So it is applied to the default product template, article, recipe. So this is one of those weird template name issues that might be giving you grief, is that here in the theme editor it's called a blog post, but technically it's called an article. So we need to call it an article here, where we're defining that we want it to be transparent. Oops. So article recipe, we have it on the collection, on the about page, and on a custom template called service on a custom product template. So let's look. I don't know if I actually did anything, but let's look and see how that looks. And then we can see that it's transparent on the home page, but we have that working by using this little toggle. And again, we could do this way. I need the space. Same difference. Cool. Yeah, so that's important. Just make sure you have a comma and a space separating each one of the templates that you want to add on here. So let's check this out. Let's take a look at the product template and see how we're doing things here. Cool. So this is kind of the same as the candles that we did, where right now we've got our olive oils that have different flavors that are pretty strong, and so we want to show a different background color for each. So we just did this on the infused olive oils, so any of these that you look at will have a custom color background. So that looks great. But we'll see this template is also being used just on the signature blends, and they don't have any special background color, and that's because they don't have any meta fields attached to them, so they just inherit the default. So let's see, so the other was we had the product service. This is just assigned to one product, so I'm just using one of the regular color scheme accent colors. I didn't define my own color scheme for this one product. And again, for both of them, all of them, I've added the padding at the top to give that space so that the header can breathe. That's the same technique I'm using on the about page. So just, this is an image with text section. Also, you want to make sure that first section on the page is toggled on in order to see the transparent header and the extra padding options. So those will only show if this is known to be the first section on the page, and to do that you have to toggle the switch off. So if I toggle it off, it just won't show those options anymore, and it won't work. It won't clear the header like that. Cool. And I think, where was the other ones? Oh, the recipes. So yeah, let's check out a recipe. Let's go recipes. Nice. So again, we have the recipes set up so that we have a few different options for how we want the header position to be. This is the header for the article. And so this one has the image at the top, so it looks really nice to do a transparent header on. I have, a meta field set up because there are some of these images that need a light colored header and color. So I have these connected to meta fields that I've created. Let's see, a good example of that would be the olive oil stuffing is a dark image, so it's got white text on top of it for the header. And I think the last one was the collection. And so this is set up, the collection is set up so that this is a collection that does not have an image associated to it, so it doesn't do the header, because the collection banner is kind of a special section where you can't add a background color or anything. So let's try and find one that has a background image. Cool, there's one. So now, since this collection has a background image, or just has an image on the collection, it shows up and we've got that cool transparent header. So let me just show you some of those things I just talked about. So if we go to collections, we'll see bestsellers has this image on it, but we were at a bundles. This one does not have an image, so it didn't take in anything about the transparent header. Cool. Okay, so let's look at another demo store. This is Honey to the Bee, which is the Bumble preset. And looking again at header, only doing this on the about page, the transparent header. So I think we're doing the same thing here that we were doing in the other one, yeah, which is just making the background blend into the first section, the same background color. But we are doing on here, we're not doing a transparent header, but we're using the 2-column template. We are adding a background color to the main product section. And for this store, every product image is on the same colored background. It's on a yellow background. So I thought it would look really nice to add that same colored background with a border shape that mimics the border shape on the front, on the index page, on the home page, for all of the product images. And so the product images just look like they're kind of floating. And so that's what we did here. And in order to create that effect, I just made the background color scheme. I made it a custom color scheme and just made it the same color as the background that is on these images already. But I could use a transparent PNG here, so that the background color of the image would just pick up whatever the background color is of the theme. But one thing, and I have details about this on the documentation. If you do use a transparent PNG, you really want to make sure that you condense you optimize your product images, because PNGs can be a lot bigger in size than JPEGs and then a lot of other product imagery, and it can really slow down your site and give you a lower score for page speed. So if you're worried about that, definitely check out our documentation, and you'll find a link to places online that'll optimize your PNGs for free. That's what we did with our demo store. And you'll also see here, I only defined the background color for the color scheme. I left everything else blank. And that's because it just picks up what the default was, because the default was great on the yellow background. I mean, the default is white as a white background. So this light yellow wasn't that much different. And so I didn't need to define that already by itself. I thought it all looked good. And then lastly, let's see what we've done here on the Evergreen store, which is the greenhouse preset for the Whisk theme. So let's go back to header. Let's see what we did. Transparent template, we did just the collection and the contact page. So for this one, on the collection, this is a small store. It only has a few products on it. I added this image, which is a generic image for the store, which is, plants and planners, and it looks really nice, and it's a vibe that works with any page, right? So I just made this the top of every collection is just this one image. Now I could hook this up to a meta field and have it be a different image on every page, but I love this. So this is how we did it here. And then can see we did we've got a white, this is the transparent header overrides. So another thing to note on the home page here in header, we already had set here. These are defaults for any transparent header on any page, is to turn it white. So we didn't need to set it on the collection because that is already the default for any transparent header. But we could change it here if we wanted to by going to transparent header overrides, but we didn't need to because our defaults worked for this image. And then the last one here was the contact. And yeah, just again, we can leave the default white. Look at contact form. Here we're adding padding at the top to give space to the transparent header. And we're using the default transparent header colors and everything here. So, and giving it a background color that is just one of the accent colors that comes with the theme. So certain sections have a little more customization options than others. This one doesn't have like all of the options for like creating a custom color scheme. The custom color scheme is really just for the product page. But yeah, please reach out if you have any problem setting this up, if you have any questions, if you have any dreams or hopes, if there's any apps that like cause problems with this feature, we want to know so we can try and make this feature as universal and easy to use as possible.